Hi, hello again. My name is Denise. I am a health freedom activist in California, and I have a blog on Facebook called The Informed Mama, and a website, theinformedmama.org. Here is where I talk about all things medical freedom, and I focus in on California laws and bills that are being introduced, so that way we know how to fight them once it happens. Recently, on Tuesday, we had a rally in California that rallied against SB 276. This bill is the most aggressive bill we've seen in California by Senator Pan. He is trying to restrict medical exemptions and trying to create a board that approves all past exemptions and future exemptions. So just because you have a medical exemption does not mean that you're safe. During this rally, it was great to see everyone from every single social demographic that that there is, and that was a really nice thing to see. We saw a lot of dads, we saw a lot of Latinos, we saw a lot of different socioeconomic statuses. I had people coming up to me and telling me, they live in underserved communities, and this is all they see. They see nothing but fear tactics and kind of a tit for tat. You comply and you'll get this, but you have to vaccinate your kids. Let me just say, in the state of California and any state anywhere around the United States, there is no law to vaccinate your kids. You cannot get in trouble by CPS, you cannot get in trouble by the police, and you cannot get in trouble by the schools. Medical exemptions in California and around the country are for schools only. They are not for your doctors or extracurricular activities or anything like that. We still have our parental rights intact in California. It is extremely important that we all understand what these bills are and how to fight them and how to get involved. So my plea to my community is we need more Latinos. We need more of the Black community. We need more of the Asian community, because these are the communities that they focus on to kind of twist your arm. And I know it's a little scary sometimes, and I know it's extremely intimidating, but it's once you link up with people who know how to do these things, who are aware of how the system works, it gets a little bit easier to do. So it's not something that only, I know a study came out saying that rich moms who shop at Whole Foods are the only ones who don't vaccinate. Women and parents who are well off and have a lot of money are the ones who don't vaccinate. The reason that's true is because people who don't need the system can leave the system. You can homeschool. You can, not have to vaccinate your kid. You are held to a different standard than, I'm just going to say this, it's going to ruffle some feathers, but when people look at me, all they see is a dumb Mexican chola. That's it. I'm from a neighborhood that's extremely rough. I live in a city where I go outside and I have seen a body on my driveway, but that doesn't make you any less. That doesn't make you incapable of making decisions. That doesn't make you incapable of understanding the science that is out, and that does not make you incapable of making decisions for your family. Just because you look like me, or you're from a neighborhood like me, or you're a construction worker, or whatever, a bartender, whatever you are, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have tattoos. It doesn't matter if your face is pierced. What matters is that you are there to protect your children. This is the only reason why we're here. I'm not here to fight with you about the science. I'm not here to change your mind about vaccinating. I'm here to make sure that my family has the option to opt out of medical exemption or medical procedures without an exemption, without permission from a state, without permission from the doctor, because I am my child's only advocate. I am their voice. So I'm asking, my call to action is for families who are from neighborhoods like mine, or moms who look like mine, who don't feel like they can mesh well with the movement. This affects everybody. These vaccines affect everybody, from someone from my neighborhood to someone from Beverly Hills. It affects everybody because vaccines are not the bumper sticker safe and effective. So in California, that's my want for you guys to understand you're capable of making these decisions. So in California, we have some bills that are coming out. They've been introduced, and it's incredibly important that we all band together and understand what these bills are. So the first one is SB 276. This bill is getting a lot of attention. On April 24th at 1:30. We will be at the Health Committee hearing. I suggest you get there early to lobby and to let your representatives know that you do not support this bill and you're asking for others not to support the bill. It may pass, it may not. We don't know right now. The co-author, Ben Allen, has already came out and said he's not going to support the bill as written. This is extremely, extremely restricting on the patient-doctor relationship. And it's unneeded. We have a medical board who's going to who oversees the doctors anyways. We don't need the state involved in this. Iris, I'm going to read yours in a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on. It says the school's nurses are calling home now with the students by their side saying, if not given, they can vaccinate this Friday. For schools, no school should be vaccinating children. So I would encourage you to contact your school and let them know that you do not support mobile clinics. And I would also appreciate you guys keep your children home because they do vaccinate against consent. So the next bill, there's a lot of, talk about 262, AB 262, which is a bill that came out of Southern California that was in regards to the hepatitis A outbreak. This bill is scary because of the wording. When it's worked cohesively with 276, it is scary. However, we are focused on 276, not 421. Not 262. It's a shit bill. It says by any means necessary. It is concerning, but we're more concerned about SB 276. The next bill is introduced by Senator Pan. Again, it's the Children's Cabinet. What this bill is, it's a board to oversee all of the health, all of the care of children in California. So basically, Senator Pan feels doctors and patients and parents are incapable of taking care of their children, and he wants a board to oversee the entire care of these kids. This is, again, I've said this again, it is an attack on the family unit. It is an attack on our personal beliefs, an attack on our religious beliefs. The next bill. So AB 329 came out a few years ago. What this bill is, it is focusing on sex ed for elementary school kids. So exactly, it's focused on kids. So I'm going to show you something. Oh, shoot. There it is. You can go to sex/edfacts.com and it's going to show you the curriculum for kindergarten. And I'm going to read it to you. Let's see here. While California Healthy Youth Act of 2016 mandates sexual health instruction in higher grades, schools are encouraged to provide age-appropriate, medically accurate sexual health instructions earlier than 7th grade. While some teachers may prefer to separate male and female students during sex health education, this is not recommended. It can foster anxiety and misinformation between males and females and allow some students to be misgendered. This is kindergarten. Fifth grade students will have an opportunity to learn that gender is not strictly defined by physical anatomy or sex assigned at birth. Rather, students understand that gender refers to attitudes, feelings, characteristics, and behaviors that a given culture associates with being male or female. So these are, I'm going to turn this around. So you can go to Sex Ed Facts, sorry, my glare. This is what's being taught. It's perfectly normal. This is the picture that's being taught to our babies in California. And it's also talking about sexual intercourse and things like that. So there is a bill called SB 673. This bill is supporting the removal of this information from our elementary school students and leaving it only to middle school, high school. Let me say, I can care less what you do with your family. I can care less what you do with your life. This is not something that I'm like anti, transgender, anti-gay. We all know that that's not the case. What I am concerned about is the schools overreaching, and the schools are teaching children who are not always ready to know about these things. They're teaching them things that they should be taught at home. So this is an extremely concerning bill. This will also be heard on the 24th. So I encourage everybody to come out to Sacramento on the 24th. We do not know if it's going to pass the health committee. I mean, Pan is the chair. However, the representatives on the health committee are listening and they're hearing us. They're understanding that this bill is a complete overreach. SB 673 is to remove it. So we want to support that bill. It's removing this sex ed curriculum from kindergarten, elementary school. So we are in a time crunch for activists to come out and be loud. There's no time for silence. There's no time to be scared. And we need everybody, all hands on deck. So there's buses coming from Southern California to Northern California. We also have a couple of donated Airbnbs and a couple of pop-up trailers. We've also had people open up their home for activists who are coming from Southern California, and I am housing a couple here as well, a few here as well. So these are the things that we need you to show up for on 4/24. In the morning, get there at 8 o'clock. Lobby if you can. Let the reps know that you do not support these bills. SB 276 infringes on the rights between privacy of patients and doctors. And we want to support the bill that removes these kinds. No child needs to learn that there's 15 different genders. I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but my son doesn't need to be taught that he can be any gender he wants depending on how he feels about it. I'm going to say this. I've been in the LGBT community for a very long time, most of my adult life, and we have already dealt with a lot of hate. I've dealt with a lot of hate. I've dealt with a lot of, people. I've been with partners who've been harassed. I've been harassed. Transgender and changing your gender is a huge decision, not one to take lightly. Medications, pharmaceutical drugs that do this are not one to take lightly. I have a lot of friends who have transitioned, and it was incredibly hard on them mentally and physically and emotionally. And our children are not ready to learn these types of things. My son is 7. He is not anywhere near ready to learn anything about this stuff. So again, these are really scary bills. Some websites you can go to, again, it's for the elementary school sex ed facts. You can go to sex/ed/facts.com, and it's going to show you the curriculum for high school, middle school, elementary school. You can also go to sb276.info, which has great information, and this shows you the governor's signature for approving SB 277. It also shows the myths and the truths of our doctors selling medical exemptions. Have medical exemptions skyrocketed? Does California lack, it says California lacks community immunity. I mean, this is a great source to look at if somebody says, doctors are selling you exemptions, we need herd immunity. Well, educate yourself on the information first. And then I want to talk about, now that we're focused on California, we want to make sure that we protect doctors. We want to make sure that we protect our children from overreach of sexual education from our local government. Go to your schools, go to your PTAs, find out what books are being taught to your kids. Be involved with the school. These schools do not have to adopt these. So this is something that you want to talk to your school district as well. Now, for lawsuits are coming. Lawsuits are coming, and they're coming hard. RFK is suing, so Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who was at our rally, is suing 4 manufacturers, all of which provide the vaccines on the CDC schedule. He was suing them for fraud because every single maker is guilty of fraud. Every single one. What is the amount of money? Let me see. Oh, I don't have the amount of money on there. 35 billion or something like that. There's a lot of money that these manufacturers are guilty of, doing fake science, not doing the studies, lying about the studies. This is a real big deal. So you want to look at, $35 billion have been paid out in total from the manufacturers for falsifying science. So it depends on who does science, right? So $35 billion is quite a lot of money to be paying out for fraud. Yet these are the ones who are recommending the CDC schedule. I would also encourage you to go to freedomsfirst.org. Here, they are suing Rockland, New York, for their restricting healthy people from leaving their community. They are filing a restraining order and an injunction and vacating orders based on insufficient predicate. So factual predicate. So there's been 5 cases of measles in Rockland, New York, and they tried to quarantine people. That didn't work. So then after that, they tried to say, well, if you're out in public and you can't show me your papers and you can't show immunity to the measles, then you're going to have to either get injected or you're going to have to pay a fine and go to jail. freedomsfirst.org. So they're suing because it holds no water. And I hope they sue their asses off. I hope that they sue them for house and home. And now we have Texans for Vaccine Choice. They are also suing, or they're introducing a bill to stop all vaccines until they can prove that they've been tested for carcinogens, mutagenics, and fertility, which that means that there should be long-term testing. I'm not too sure if you guys are aware, but your vaccines that you give your children have been tested for about 5 to 7 days total. Your hepatitis B vaccine, which is a sexually transmitted disease or an illness that's passed through men who have sex with men, or dirty needles. That's the only way that your child can get hepatitis. It has also killed many children, causes gastrointestinal issues, and can cause jaundice. So why are your brand new babies who came out extremely healthy now have jaundice and in the NICU because their vitals have went down? Well, you just vaccinated them with hepatitis. The vitamin K is also something that's not needed. You can breastfeed and you can eat a diet rich in vitamin K and not circumcise. And also the eye ointment is for mothers who have chlamydia and they want to put an antibiotic on your brand new baby, cover their eyes, and hopefully your chlamydia doesn't pass through. I don't know about you, but when I am pregnant, I go and I get, all of the to the doctor. I make sure I'm healthy. We do the blood test. We make sure that I don't have anything that can pass to my baby. And that should be sufficient enough, unless, you're having sex with other people and sharing needles while you're pregnant, in which I would ask you to stop. So these are great things. We have to remember that we need to focus on lobbying. I am extremely nervous when I do it, but I link up with other people who are professionals in this. So these are the things that we need to do. I'm asking my community, I'm asking your community, everybody from all walks of life. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor or in the middle. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican or Libertarian. It does not matter. It's no longer about the parties. It's about what's being introduced to our children. And, fight for parental rights. This is extremely important in California. We know that California has wanted their claws in our kids for a real long time. So that's my spill. That's the information. So we have SB 276 that needs complete attention to. We need you guys to come out. There's help with buses. There's help with places to stay. There's help to get here. I will help you get here. We have a huge team of parents who are willing to help you get here. You can also look under Educate Advocate. If you have a child who is disabled, they will help you get out here and stay as well. So for accommodations, they won't help you get to the location, but for accommodations, they will help you. So these are great organizations. I would encourage you to follow Texans for a Vaccine Choice if you happen to be in Texas. If you're in California, follow avoiceforchoice.org. Christina Hildebrand has a petition out to the governor to not pass SB 276 or SB 262. So these are great places to start. I would encourage you to do so. I will also be having another cafe hour. It's called Empower California in Stockton. That place can fit 150 people, and it will be an all-day event. We will be doing a crash course on vaccine education. We will be doing a crash course on healing your children who are on the autism spectrum, as well as a crash course on lobbying, so you know how to lobby, because after the 24th, it's going to go to the health committee for the 24th. If it does pass, it's going to go to the assembly, in which we need to work extremely hard to kill it. So that's my information. If you guys have any questions, you can email me at theinformedmama.org, and I will put you in touch with someone if you so need to, or if you just have a question, you can send it to me and I will help you get the answer. So I'm sorry it was such a long video. There's just a lot of information to cover. And if you have any questions, let me know. Other than that, I'm going to be working on this cafe hour. I have one in Culver City it's going to be myself, Jamie Lynn Juarez, Travis Middleton, Michelle Ford, Brittany Cara, Shannon Croner. So I appreciate everybody who's been involved in this. If you are an activist in Northern California and specialize in something and would like to be a part of the classes, please send me an email and we will work together to get California parents woke. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great morning.